Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Welcome to Rhypi Talks. Today we're going to do favorite things, but something a little different. I'm going to combine my gaming knowledge with my talking topics with doing favorite creatures to use in Heroes, Might and Magic, the original. I'm planning to do this with all the Heroes, Might and Magic games, at least the ones I played. And I might try to do 5. I can't guarantee it just because I don't know it as much. I might look at the creatures and give us best idea. But let's get started. The first favorite creature I use and is gonna be a wolf. I know it's just called wolf, but in the first game they didn't really venture on the names too much. But wolf I enjoyed. It's the third stage of the barbarian family, and it had a double attack. So it initiated the attack typically, and then did the attack afterwards. So it definitely left the enemies with quite a punch, especially if they didn't have a third level yet. And with these I'm gonna be trying to limit it to 2 per castle or faction. Alright, next up we have Troll from the same faction. That I know some of you guys might like Cyclops better, especially when it used to do stuns and stuff like that, but I prefer Trolls because he was able to destroy the castle if he was attacking the castle, and that when you attack, typically it did not have to worry about resistance of how, if it could attack someone for half damage or not. That typically Trolls didn't have to worry about this, and this was a stage 4 creature. So it's one of those interesting. But next up is Dragon from the Warlock series. You know, Dragon gets mixed around throughout the series, but the first iteration I remember being the reason why I joined Dragons now. When I first played the Dragons, that was super powerful, was able to fly and breathe fire against 2 creatures at the same time. That most of the level 6 creatures, had this ability. So that's what I would say with the Dragon. Alrighty, next up we have Ghost, that is considered neutral / no affiliations. I enjoyed this one for the reason that when you had a decent amount, that it just kept absorbing HP off of an enemy and gaining it as its own. So sometimes you can have it where it was only 5 ghosts you started with, and depending on how weak the enemies was, like if it was a level 1 like a sprite or peasants and centaur, that it got higher up as much as it can. That I remember one battle I went from 5 to 90 because I just had a good amount of damage happen to me. So one of those. So with this in mind, then we'll see how things is. Next up, we have Unicorn from the Sorceress region. This was the level 5 creature. That this, similar to Cyclops, has stuns and cheaper, and was the case that I had a good movement because most of the 4-legged creatures had good movement, like the wolf did too. So, alrighty. Next up, we have the Paladin from the Night region. This was the level 6 creature, and some little wolf. I liked this because it was a double attacker, but it also had a heavy defense, so it wasn't easily destroyed by things. So, but caveat is that it doesn't move that far, but most of the knights didn't move that far. But you don't count the Cavalier or Champion, I think it was called in this game. I forget which one it is for the first region. I think it was Cavalier. And this was called Paladin. Hopefully I'm remembering it right. So next up is Archer from the Knight series as well. That one of the lower level costs of using range attacks, and was something that you could get for free at different cottages often and stuff like that. So I always enjoy using the archers for that reason. Next up, we have the genies, neutral affiliate, and I would argue is the level 6 of the neutral non-affiliates, and it can do it where it does really good damage or zaps enemy stack in half. I've seen it one time that when I wasn't expecting to win that much, because I only had a stack of 3 genies as one of my last creatures, and an opponent had 400 hydras that it snapped it to 200, then snapped it to 100, and snapped it to 50 because the hydra kept on attacking my other creatures that I kept on getting the genie out of the circle for that AI that day. But usually it goes after the genies because it can snap that much off of it. But I don't know why I didn't do it that day. But I remember that happening. But I enjoyed the genies because of that random chance, and it's only in this game really that happens. That it happens sometimes in the second game, but after that it kind of stops doing that. The chance is very low in other games. Next up, we have the Griffin from the Warlock series. So a lot of the things I was considering with this, I was considering having Minotaurs, I was considering having Hydras on here, and thought about Centaurs for the same reason why I have Archer, but I couldn't beat the fact that this had a Retaliate in a sense, because one of the only ones I think in the first game that had it where if every enemy attacked it, it would attack it every time as well. Where Retaliate usually is just the first one that gets attacked. So one of those interesting things to say the least. But I also enjoy it because it was a flying user and you didn't have to wait for the castle to be destroyed to go around. And it just had good synergy with other mons like Centaur, Trolls, Wolf, because sometimes I would like to combine things from the Warlock and Barbarian, but it also had great synergy with the other guys as well. And then, last but not least, we have Elves from the Sorcerer's reason. I could have done Druids for the same reason why Troll, that they both had it where it negated the problem of range, but Troll just had that ability that could attack the castle as well, where the Elf I'm choosing because it's the only range attacker by default that can do a double attack, if I remember this game correctly. I know in future games it does, but I think in this game it does that too. But like I always say with these videos, it just goes by memory first. That maybe at some point I'll make it where I do a proper top 10 rankings, who knows, or proper top 5 in this case, because we only have if I look through the creature lists in my head, not in my head, but I'm looking at right now, that we only had 28 creatures to choose from in the first game. That I may split it up later when we're doing proper rankings of stuff, if you guys want to see that. But this is always just from my personal opinion why none of these have a number attached to them. But if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to like. I hope everyone has a good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're watching this video. See you guys next time. Peace.